Once I have all of my shapes cut out and I have different sizes of each, I can go ahead and start working on my placement or my arrangement, okay? Anytime we're talking about placing or arranging something within our artwork, we're referring to composition, okay? So composition is the way that a picture or something is organized. So it's an arrangement, an organization, a composition, okay? So I'll use all of those words interchangeably. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to create two different things within our composition. One is the focal point and one is the eye path, okay? So the focal point is the most eye-catching part of the composition or the arrangement, and the eye path is a series of shapes, lines, it could be even objects that lead to the focal point, okay? So focal point, most important part, most eye-catching part. Eye path is literally just that. It's the path that your eye takes around the composition to the focal point, all right? Now, compositional rule, we're gonna talk about the rule of thirds, okay? And what that means is if you divide a picture plane into 9 equal parts, you have a tic-tac-toe grid, right? So intersection, 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 intersection meaning an X, you have 4 X's. If you place your focal point on one of those 4 points of intersection, just choose one of them. If you place your focal point on a point of intersection, your composition will be a little bit more eye-catching to the viewer, okay? Because it's not dead center in your composition, your viewer's eye has to search for it a little bit more, okay? So we're gonna choose a shape and we're gonna choose a point of intersection. So 1, 2, 3, or 4. I'm probably gonna choose this one here just because I feel like it. I'm gonna choose this shape or shapes plural that I want to be part of my focal point. All right, so I think I'm going to use these weird shapes here, and I can either put one of them here. That's cool. In fact, I think I'm going to do that to start us off with. All right, so I'm just going to place that here. That's going to be my focal point. All right, so done and done. Eye-catching shape or shapes plural, you can arrange a series of shapes around here or one of these other points of intersection, that's fine. I'm going to keep it to 1 for now, all right? So I have one that's here, and for my eye path, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to choose another type of shape. And I'm going to start to arrange it so it goes off the composition, goes around, and eventually meets up with the focal point. So the goal of the eye path is to draw your attention to the focal point, all right? So I'm actually going to use all of my triangles and I'm going to arrange them in a way that kind of goes on and off my composition. I can make these shapes go a little bit off my composition. I can't make them go all the way off, okay? Because eventually we'll cut these out of clay and attach them on, all right? So I am going to start by, having this shape off to the side like this. So I'm starting off my composition. And what's nice about having these shapes one color is that the color is repeated. All right. So it is repetition of the shape, but also the color, and it helps draw our eye in a certain direction, right? It helps create our eye path. It helps create movement, all right? So that's kind of the goal of the eye path, is to meet up with the focal point, also to create movement within your piece. So I'm gonna see, do I want this here? I do. I'm gonna want this. I want this here. I'm going to use this one here. I'm going to use this one here. All right, so this eye path for me is done right now. And what I have done is I've used, again, repeated shapes in a repeated color. We set that out from the beginning. And they have gone off the page. They start off the page, go around, meet up with a focal point. Okay, so this eye path is doing its job. I did overlap some of these shapes. I did put them in close proximity to one another. You can kind of think of these eye path shapes as like a roadway or stepping stones that lead to the focal point. Now I'm going to use some of my other shapes that I have here for a second eye path. Okay, so this eye path is going to go in a completely different direction, but still lead up to the focal point. All right, so I've got to figure this out. This is like a puzzle for art peoples. All right, so how do I want to do this? I think I want to do this. I think I want it to go through, you know what? I want it to go down here. I think I do. So I'm going to start this off. I'm going to overlap. Put this one here. I did say I wanted to go in a different direction. I'm not doing a different direction. Okay, so I have something that looks like this. All right, this isn't bad. This isn't bad for a composition. Okay, so right here I have two different eye paths, all right, that go around, meet the focal point. And so I would take a picture of this and put this as like arrangement or composition number one. Okay, now I'm going to try real quick and arrange it a completely different way just to share with you guys what that could look like. Okay, so again, I'm going to choose a focal point and a focal point shape. So I'm going to choose one of these points of intersection to place my focal point on. And from there, I am going to make two different eye paths. And guess what? I'm going to use this one. In fact, no, I'm going to use this one. I'm going to do it. All right. So this right here is going to be my focal point. All right, so I used a completely different set of shapes. I would encourage you to do the same for your second composition, your second arrangement. So I chose a different focal point. I chose a different set of shapes. In fact, let's do this. Look at that. Here we go. Perfect. All right, so I have something that looks like that. And from here, I'm going to choose an eye path shape. Okay, so I am going to do eye path number one is going to be these guys. I'm going to start off, go around the page, overlap these, put these in close proximity to one another. All right, now I'm going to do my last eye path. And so my last eye path is, I'm going to make it go, start over here. All right, composition number two, boom, done. So I think you kind of get an idea of how you can arrange these in different ways. You guys are going to do 3 to 4 different arrangements or compositions using the same shapes, okay? And you're going to photograph them after each time before you clear the slate, clear your tic-tac-toe board, and create it again.